At some point in our lives, we all discover ways to earn more money. And while people often believe that the hardest thing to do is to make money, the reality is that the hardest thing to do is to spend it wisely. Financial literacy is undoubtedly a big problem for most people. Even schools don't teach it, so people often end up poor. That's why in today's video, we'll talk about the money habits that will keep you poor forever if you don't change them. Number 1. Focus on the present and neglect the future. Many people tend to ignore problems that are difficult to solve, and this is a sure recipe for failure. The same is true for personal finance. That is, people tend to focus only on their current needs and forget to take responsibility for their future needs. But when making financial decisions, it is essential to keep the future in mind. While it is important to take care of and enjoy the present, it is also important to make an effort to save for the future. Therefore, we recommend that you do not spend all your money and set aside a certain amount of your income for savings or investments so that you do not find yourself in a difficult financial situation in the future. Number 2. Ignore debt. Many people today struggle with the interest on their debts, which consumes a large part of their financial resources, and that is a horrible fact. Moreover, many of these people have no idea what to do to get out of this vicious cycle, leaving them with little savings. The biggest problem here is that people are not aware that they are in debt until they reach a point where they can no longer afford to carry on, and then it is too late. So if you are in debt and it is consuming a large part of your financial resources, the first thing to do is to make debt repayment a priority. Then, you need to create a plan and set strict deadlines for repaying your debts. Number 3. Spending money blindly. Not having a budget is like planning a trip to a country you've never been to and expecting everything to go smoothly. So don't try to spend money blindly if you're not clear on how much you pay each month in bills and how much income you receive. To do this, make a list of all your expenses and write down when they are due. Write down when you get your paycheck and how much money you take home. Then, make sure you have enough money each month to pay your bills. Save money each month to pay your rent, mortgage, or car payment. Finally, make a budget that allows you to save a portion of your income and helps you identify your unnecessary expenses. Number 4. Making impulse purchases. This is not an easy decision because this is where our willpower comes into play. For example, sometimes it is tempting to go out for dinner when we are too tired to cook, or sometimes we are tempted to buy something on Amazon just because it seemed cheap. Of course, none of these expenses are costly in the short term, but if we analyze them a little more closely, we will realize that, in the long term, they are not beneficial for us. For this reason, if you don't control your impulse purchases, you will only make things worse. A good idea to avoid impulse buying is to add extra steps between selecting an item and buying it. For example, if you're going to buy something online, you can leave the product in the shopping basket for 24 hours before you buy it. You can also check prices or search for promotional codes. By adding extra steps to your purchase, you will eliminate the feeling of impulsivity. Number 5. Not improving your skills and wasting time. Sometimes we seem to have plenty of money to buy clothes or eat in restaurants, but not to save. On the other hand, we also have plenty of time to play video games on Facebook and watch videos on YouTube, but not to learn new skills. In times of quarantine, many countries urge people to stay at home to avoid mass contagion. And the question is, in that period, how many actually spent their time learning new skills? Remember that today, there are many platforms for acquiring new skills. So if you really want to learn a skill and start using your time productively, stop making excuses and get on with it. Number 6. Failure to learn from mistakes. Failure to learn from mistakes is the main reason most people never succeed in their finances. They think they can repeat their mistakes over and over again without any consequences, but this is not true. We must learn to accept that nothing will be handed to us on a silver platter, and therefore we must strive and work towards our own financial development, rather than simply turning our backs on the opportunities that come our way. Remember, not learning from our mistakes will prevent us from improving our finances and living a successful life. Number 7. Being unsure of your financial goals. To save money and become rich, you have to focus on what is important, what is not, and how to achieve it. To do this, it is important to set financial goals, and moreover, if you want to be rich, you will have to give up some of your pleasures. So make sure you are clear about your financial goals and write them down so that you always keep them in mind. If you write down your financial goals, you can review them at regular intervals so that you don't forget them. The truth is that we all have many problems, and most of them have to do with money. But remember that you can be better off financially if you work on these bad habits and start putting all these tips into practice. So do yourself a favor and take control of your finances now. You'll thank yourself later. Now tell us, which of these bad habits is the one that hurts you the most? Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to share it with your friends and family and subscribe to see more content like this. Take care and see you next time.